this thing on?
We talking about practice, man.
I work with my hands. It's a misdemeanor in 27 states.
You gotta be comfortable with your co-host in this amount of space.
Yeah, I can see me and you.
This guy runs a state.
You get that through your head?
You just got hashtag content.
Technology and stuff.
Open your grill. It's stuck in your teeth.
Now I have to mark them so I don't get to lick mine.
You're not really that stupid, are you?
Quavos.
I'm just here so I won't get fined.
We'd have a lot of editing this time.
The ceiling is the roof. Let's make it happen.
Mizzou Mafia back in the house to talk some association.
Hoopshead Jonah Javad from WGRZ in Buffalo is going to talk words about the playoffs.
Plus, Maddie, forget the bro tip. We have the sports by mom tip. Sorta.
And Sixers wasn't just for Mother's Day breakfast.
To be determined, episode 11. Previously recorded from the studio in Mom's basement.
Whap, 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 whap.
Happy Mother's Day. Post-Mother's Day, now that you're listening
Thank
to this,
you.
everyone. Especially to Maddie, who is
I'm just an ant.
a Penn State ant. At Sports by Bond, Stephen Bond.
Not on my own just yet.
Joined by the one and only Penn State ant. At Trabs Matt Traybold.
Turn them down
I
and
don't
see if
know.
you're making lion noises?
Yeah.
All right.
Just trying to
Let's
find
just touch the mixer right now.
trying to find the mute button, but I don't want to do that. You get too many good nuggets. We get too much planned on the show.
Oh, Lord, the nuggets.
It's a fun one. Give you a quick rundown of what is planned, as we mentioned kind of in the open here. Hoops conversation, chat, if you will, with WGRZ's Jonah Javad out in Buffalo. He's a big Hoops head. Taker in of the association, to coin that phrase.
Oh, taker in, consumer.
Or consumer.
Taker in.
It's from episode 10. Check the archives. We'll also be talking to Sports by Mom on this Mother's Day. Very appropriate. And the Ducks finally flying together. That later on during the segments. Maddie, what's the word this week?
The word, I said it off the top. It's association. Associación. I don't think that works.
I don't know if
that's a Spanish word.
I don't know if that's appropriate. We forgot to change the rundown here. I noticed just as we're diving into this, the ink still fresh on this one. We had Warriors got thumped at home. That one needed to be crossed off because they did not get thumped
But it's a testament to how crazy the game was.
Exactly. That's a great point. The Warriors down 20 at the half, or as many as 20, something along those lines. I think it was 20 at the half.
Well, 20 in the second half, 25 overall.
20 in the second half, 25 overall. Thank you for that. And found a way to win. Now, Kawhi Leonard goes down, leaves with an ankle injury, and that's when the tides turn. The Warriors go on an 18-0 run and seemingly hit everything, while on the other end, the Spurs couldn't find or buy a bucket. Manu Ginobili, I think, finally broke the drought with the slam. The Warriors, though, man, I mean, they've been sitting on the bench just waiting for this. 8 up, 8 down. Now it's 9 for 9 against, you thought maybe the one team that could give them some problems in the Spurs. To me, the Spurs were the team that could do it if, it's a big if Kawhi was going to be healthy. We knew he came in banged up. The minute he goes out, the tides turn because, for 2.5 quarters, that game was all San Antonio. They looked impressive. The Warriors looked like they couldn't hit water if they fell out of a boat.
Now, I know those numbers, those raw numbers seem crazy. You're 20-point deficit overcome in the second half, 25 overall for the game. But if you ask me, I'm not surprised they came back and won at all. Kawhi Leonard means so much to this team. This is a guy that came in really to play defense. Granted, he was a pretty high draft pick to just be a role-playing defensive guy. But he has come so far, and because of that, he does so many different things in this team. He's a Draymond Green for them, for the Spurs, and even at a bigger level because he's in the MVP conversation.
Yep.
But he just could not catch a break today. Not long before he ran to Zaza Pachulia and what ended up taking him out of the game overall with the ankle, he ran to his own bench and got tripped up.
Yeah. Well, it goes to show you, most valuable player for your team or best player. To me, Kawhi's the most valuable player for his team. And just as you mentioned, it shows because they were a completely different team without Kawhi. Now, it's going to go to the best player or whatever. That's an entirely different discussion.
It almost changes the definition, even though it's in there already with the most valuable. It's kind of like when Derek Carr, a lot of people thought that he would possibly win the MVP because the Raiders were so different in the playoffs, even though they were so mighty with him at the very end of the regular season. But it's really too bad. I mean, Sean Livingston, he's not in the box score a lot, but he tapped out so many offensive boards. It's just so suffocating when really you got a lot of big guys out there, LaMarcus Aldridge, Paul Gasol, so on and so forth, but they just can't get the rebounds. And this is a Warriors team that wasn't that shooting that well when they made the comeback, but they just kept getting extra chances. And DeJounte Murray and Kyle Slow-Mo Anderson, you give them all the love. It looked like Kawhi's out. They really whittled down the lead, but then they brought it back to 7 behind a couple young guys. I guess wasn't enough in the end, though.
It's a testament to just how good this Warriors team is.
Yeah.
I don't think there are many other teams, maybe any other team, left in the postseason or even that made the postseason that could have come up with a run like that.
Well, they just have that swagger. I know that's kind of an overused cliche term now, but that's a kind of team that's been there before. If they are given that opportunity, they're not going to squander it. You cannot give a team like that kind of opportunity. You've got to buckle it down. LaMarcus Aldridge, he was looking out. I can't even find words for it because we were watching that game and he was just lumbering around. He's looking much older than he actually is.
That's a good point. He that was sort of a conundrum for him, that game, in a nutshell, because he had over 20 points. So by the box score, he seemed to play well. But down the stretch, he was pretty absent. You know, when his team needed him the most, when Kawhi left, is when he really needed to step up and be that guy. He was not.
Just
he
absurd.
Fumbled all over the place, and he was, he's lazy at times. We saw him walk up the court a few times. I mean, this is the Western Conference Finals, buddy.
Well,
what are you doing?
It's in the midst of a huge comeback by your opponent.
Yeah.
And then Manu Ginobili, before he really started getting it going there in the fourth quarter, he was trying to throw crazy passes around. Guys, you're veterans. I know LaMarcus is pretty new to this team, but it just kind of showed LaMarcus is not having maybe that clutch gene right now at this point in his career. He's coming from the Trailblazers where he's a big deal, plenty of playoff opportunities, but nothing like he's going to be with the Spurs further down, deeper into the playoffs.
Not this deep. Shows you how much they not only need Kawhi, but even Tony Parker, I would say.
Yes.
It's just another veteran presence that, maybe settles things down, hits that bucket when you need it. We had down here, and maybe this is the word of this game number 1 in the Western Conference Finals.
Not association or whatever I just tried to say.
Surprising.
Yeah.
And it was surprising how much the Spurs were up by, and it was surprising to see just how they fumbled it. I mean, so it brings up that age-old question. Did Golden State win it? Or did San Antonio lose it?
I think they lost it. Ugh.
I think,
just to see veterans play that poorly at the end.
You can say they lost it, but look at the other side of that coin. Golden State still has to hit those shots. They still have to hit those shots. And can you really say you lost the game when your best player leaves by injury?
It was such an effort thing, too. Like I mentioned Sean Livingston a second ago. But Klay Thompson, again, this is a guy who came in the league as a marksman. He's become such a good defender. You cannot say anything about the effort of at least most of the Warriors out there during that comeback.
All right, let's move to the east side. We'll bring it closer to home here.
Saeed.
Washington, Boston. Let's talk about Game 6, then we'll dive into Game 7 a little bit. This was the question that we came up with for or about John Wall. Was this John Wall's coming out party? Was this the game that he really established himself? Maybe to the national audience, but not to the Washington audience, I think.
Oh, absolutely not. Well, going to this game, I mean, the two big guys, two big guards, star players, all-stars, guys pseudo in the MVP conversation. One of them, Isaiah Thomas, is known as the King of the Fourth. I know that is a Game of Thrones reference lost on you.
Completely lost.
We'll get you up in the sods. We'll get you up in the sods here soon.
Sports. My mom is a Game of Thrones fan. She knows more about Game of Thrones than she does about sports.
Maybe we'll get to talk to her a little bit later about it. We'll see. We'll see if we got time. But you have that in Isaiah Thomas. He's so known for that. He's legendary in the fourth quarter in NBA history. And on the other end, John Wall, plenty of numbers put up in terms of the entire game. Sort of like you were saying a second ago with LaMarcus Aldridge. Great stat line, not good late. That's been the slight against John Wall.
Let me give you the numbers for John Wall, just because I think you're bringing up a good point. Mm-hmm. He had 33 in the game, but in the fourth had 13.
In one quarter.
Dig. And he hit the game winner. That should not be lost.
Which, who cares if he scored the other 10 points? I mean, that's the big stuff.
Right. And that three was deep. That was a very deep three, confidently shot in a big moment at home. That, to me, is the national moment for John Wall. Like we said, I think the District of Columbia, very familiar with John Wall. And, John Wall wants to be treated as a superstar. He wants to be one of the faces of the league. And I think he feels he doesn't get that respect. And,
I would agree.
Maybe it's for good reason because the Wizards haven't been this deep or this good, really. Now they're here. And it's not just John Wall. Bradley Beal is a huge part of this entire team. I'm trying to throw a few things at you here.
Little dynamic duo.
That may be the best backcourt in the
Definitely
game.
up there. Definitely top 5. I would say probably at least top 3 as well.
It's arguable. You can make the case for it if you're certainly a Wizards fan or you see with some sort of Washington bias, if you will.
But we were talking about it a little bit before the show, and Charles Barkley's been saying it. A big talk has been, this has been a pretty boring playoffs when you look at favorites winning and so many blowouts. Not a lot of big moments. That gave basically what Luke May gave to what was a fairly boring, I don't want to say boring, especially because it's my sport in men's college basketball, but didn't have a lot of exciting moments until Luke May hit that shot.
Yeah.
And you really had that. John Wall did it.
Yes.
They really needed it. It was a little bit later in the playoffs, as I'm sure the NBA brass and the ESPN brass or TNT's really showing the games more. Really wanted to see that happen earlier on, but that is going to be shown for a long time now. Long time.
Yeah, especially if Washington can pull it out in Game 7. Let's transition to Game 7. What can we expect? It goes back to Boston now. John Wall steps up at home. You would have to think now it's on Isaiah Thomas. To me, all eyes turn to Isaiah Thomas for this, and how do you respond? And not just in the fourth. How do you respond for the entire game, for the entirety of this contest?
What I'm worried about, and I'm not saying necessarily as a Celtics fan. I mean, that's a team I've rooted for. I have so much stuff in my room about that stuff throughout the years.
We got the jersey behind you.
Oh, yeah, Shaquille O'Neal. I think he played in like 6 games that year. End of his career.
Before
little hobbled.
He started the year having surgery, then came back for 6 games at the idea.
Yeah, it was
got injured again.
Legendary. Really good investment on my part. But what worries me, John Wall was a sleeping giant. Like you said, did not get a lot of love outside of Washington in terms of consistency with that. And now he has his marquee moment. He has even more confidence. So he had wanting to prove people wrong, added to the confidence that he knows he can do it now. That kind of talent, that's scary. That's scary.
But can he respond? Because now did he peak, I guess is the question. Did John Wall peak in that game?
I still think he's young enough where I don't think it's going to be.
Well, no, I'm not saying for his career. I'm saying for the series more.
Oh, I got
For the series. Did he peak in that? Was that moment the peak? And now, to me, again, as I said, I think it's Isaiah Thomas. That is the key to this whole thing, at least in Game 7 to me. That's who I watch. I'm not really interested in any other character, maybe besides John Wall. I want to see how Isaiah Thomas responds. Everything he's gone through this postseason, well documented. We all know. Lost his sister, got the tooth knocked out. It's been a trying playoffs for him. This, to me, you're the number 1 seed. You have to play like it. Because right now, everyone looks at it as, okay, this is inevitable. We're just going to have Cleveland and Golden State in the final, and that's going to be that. This can still be a great series. As you mentioned, Charles Barkley said that he'd rather watch the NHL, and quite frankly, not only my hockey
I remember
guy,
that part of it. Wow.
Didn't he say he wanted to watch,
Chuck Daddy.
hockey? I think something like that.
I wouldn't put it past him. Nothing wrong with
I
that.
want to say it was something about that Charles Barkley said he would rather watch a hockey game or the NHL, something like that, than the NBA. And listen, he's right. The games have been closer. They've been better. We haven't had a ton of Game 7s. I think there's only 2 Game 7s in hockey, but the games have been close. Where the NBA been blowouts both ways. We get a good one in Game 6 of Boston-Washington. We get a good one in Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. You get the Game 7. Again, I don't really care who wins. I don't have a dog in the fight. I just want to see a close game.
I think it should be. I mean, this has been a series of blowouts, but I think it should be when you look at who is leading the charge and kind of the clutch forces that they can bring to the game. But what's so big for John Wall is he actually, for once in this series, at the end of a game, was able to solve defensive extraordinaire Avery Bradley. He was able to solve him for a little bit. I wonder if it will grow into this next game. We'll see.
All right, so Game 7 going to be the first Game 7 at the Boston Garden in 5 years. First time Washington's played a Game 7 at the Garden.
Fiver?
In 5, ever, really. Yeah, first in 5 years. Last was 2012. Meanwhile, Cleveland, much has been made of LeBron and these stars getting rest. Well, they're getting, during the regular season, they're getting all the rest in the world right now.
And right now, they probably hope they weren't getting rest. I heard Kyrie Irving saying in some media availability that, like, every time we do even a walkthrough, we just wish that it was the real thing. And
it's tough. Do you lose the groove? Do you lose the magic at all? I don't think you do. I don't think LeBron does, just because he's that good. He's that much better than everyone else. The rest of the team, maybe. This might throw the rest of them off.
The thing was, they were resting those games to have as much fire as possible, as much energy as possible for these playoffs. This is not when they want to be resting. This is when they want to use all that energy that was saved up and
you want
expend
momentum.
them.
That's
and
what
momentum's
it is.
so big. I know a lot of people say momentum. You're just talking like a child, and that doesn't really have that much to do with it. These are the men playing.
Well, it's sports.
Men
guy
moving
talk.
objects and stuff. So
it's sports nerd talk is what you'd say. But really, everybody knows about momentum. I don't care if it's a beer league hockey tournament. If you're winning a couple games, you want to keep playing.
There's too much evidence of it.
Obviously, you always want to go to the bar and have a beer, but you want to keep playing. That's the idea,
Well, that's why there's rec leagues and old person leagues. I don't know. That's not nice. Older, because beer leagues you don't have to be old. Oh no.
You do not.
What have I done?
I don't know. That was.
Because I've played in beer leagues before,
There you go.
like softball and stuff. So I can't be talking. Shot myself in the foot. Little foot shot.
All right, Matty.
Plaques.
we will get out of this segment then. Relieve you of this misery and this pain. Around the corner, friend of the show, FOTS, Jonah Javad of WGRZ in Buffalo. He'll continue the association talk. Mizzou Mafia after the break.
You're you. I'm me. I hope you listened to the first couple blocks of this to learn our names. This is TBD.
It never gets old, but it's new for the guests, so that'll work. That'll work. At Sports by Bond with @Trabs Matt. Pleased to be joined by @Jonah Javad, so it pretty much gives away who we're joined by. One Jonah Javad of WGRZ, sports anchor reporter out in the All-America City, Buffalo, New York. Jonah, what's going on, buddy?
What's up, boys? How are you?
We're hanging on a Sunday.
We've come a long way from the Jenny Cream Ales in Rock City.
Oh, my God, the Jenny Screamers. Golly. You're a big fan of the association, so I figured we got to get Jonah on to talk playoff basketball and talk a little hoops. It's not exactly what I do, but, I figured what the heck. This is the guy to talk to. And it's, as I just said a few moments ago, this is the first time I've called Jonah and didn't ask him for a Bills soundbite. So it's non-Bills
I missed
related.
those phone calls, Bondo. I missed those phone calls.
Hey, listen, one of these days I'm just going to randomly shoot you a text and just to confuse you.
I need Rex. I need Rex sound.
I need Rex sound. All right, bud. Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals just wrapping up a few minutes ago as we're taping this. Initial reaction to this game and kind of how it went down.
I mean, the Warriors are just really not fair. I think we're seeing exactly what we expected at the start of the season was it really doesn't matter how many points they're down by. They could be down by like 84 points after the first quarter, and they have enough firepower to come back. Klay Thompson hit 2 shots in this game, and they were down 20 at the half, and they still won by 2, which is just stupid. I mean, granted, you can't count on Steph to score, 40 points every game and KD to go off like he did. But, I mean, even if they don't play to that level, the Spurs are in a real tough spot. I mean, Kawhi going down and LaMarcus, you never know what you're going to get with him any night. And as good as Pop and the Spurs are, I think we really saw this was a backbreaker of a loss. Yeah.
Is that near loss a reality check, and does it help the Warriors going forward?
I thought this would be a series just because the way San Antonio likes to slow the pace. Pop is a friggin' genius. I think it was good. I think it could have gone 6, but then this performance, you don't know what's going to happen with Kawhi's ankle. I mean, this will be lucky to go 5. I don't think the Spurs have enough. I mean, against Houston, they were able to limit them offensively here and there and take away their 3-point shooters and force Harden to beat them. You can't do that with Steph and the Warriors because they'll lose all those one-on-one matchups. That's what makes Golden State so stupid good. And San Antonio's depth is matched by Golden State's depth. I think we're finally seeing the 2 best teams of the West. In my opinion, probably the 2 best teams in the NBA. No offense to Cleveland. Duke it out. And KD and the Dubs. That's why he went there, man.
Golly.
We're seeing it.
They overcome a 20-point deficit at the half. Kawhi goes down early in the third. We knew he was banged up.
How do you stop that? How do you stop that?
Yeah.
I guess the only way to stop it is by Kawhi Leonard going down with an ankle injury, which, by the way, Zaza Pachulia, that looked dirty as hell.
He kept coming
didn't
in.
need to put his foot underneath Kawhi when Kawhi was coming down. That was messed up. I don't know if that was intentional or not. I'm not going to speculate, but
Right.
I'll speculate and say that was some BS.
Yeah.
I love Kawhi like a son, and I hate not seeing him play.
Well, it's bad for the league.
It's terrible. It's
this-
terrible for the league. These playoffs have been horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The games have not been competitive. You've got the star teams really dominating, and now finally we get a good series. And this game was awesome, but the next games might stink because Kawhi doesn't play. So injuries are part of the game, but we're really, as viewers, not in good shape until the finals when it's
Right.
going to be Cleveland, Golden State. And if it's anything other than that,
Yeah.
I'd be stunned.
Yeah, really. All right, let's go to the East then. Was Game 6 John Wall's maybe defining moment in his career?
No, because I think for the most part, it doesn't matter if John Wall slays North Korea. It doesn't matter what he does. People are always going to discredit him. It's LeBron in the East, we know that. And then after that, everybody likes to bitch and moan about who's number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Isaiah Thomas? Is it Kyrie Irving? No, it's John Wall. And people just keep forgetting that. And I don't know what it is. I mean, DC is a huge market. He is loved there. Maybe people just don't see him play as much as they should. The dude is absurdly good.
Yeah.
He's so good. And I was over the moon to see him hit that shot in that big moment to keep the Wizards alive. I'm a Celtics fan, and even I was amped up after that shot because it's good for the game.
Yeah.
It's good for the series. And damn it, John Wall deserves some damn respect. He's the second best player in the East. He is, you could argue, the best point guard right now. I know people want Steph, but all around point guard game, it's hard to bet against John Wall these days. No offense to Chris Paul.
Yeah.
Game 7, what do you expect?
Oh, massacre. Blood, tears, a lot of bodily fluids on the floor.
The Boston Massacre or what?
Hopefully Kelly Olynyk and Kelly Oubre can get into another shoving match. That was delicious. You know what? I want to say the Celtics will roll because they're really good in Game 7. They know how to take care of business. But as I just mentioned, John Wall is stupid good. And my belief in sports is if you don't know who's going to win, pick the best player, and Wall's the best player. So I could see the Wizards pulling out some magic and winning on the road.
Interesting. All right, let's talk about the team that's been sitting for a while, and ironically enough, that sat their players for how many different games this year. What do we make of Cleveland right now, just kind of sitting and waiting? Is this a good thing or a bad thing for them?
I mean, the Warriors sat and waited, and maybe they got kind of beat down in that first half, and then we saw them full strength in that second half and go on to win. I don't think sitting out really does much. Maybe it could lead to a slow starting game 1 of the East Finals, but I would think by a quarter in or a half in, the Cavs will be fine. And that's another team that, as good as they are, we forget how good LeBron James is. Because this year we've been arguing about Russell Westbrook and James Harden for MVP, and LeBron James, at least in the postseason, has been the best player in the playoffs. And as LeBron goes, Cleveland goes. I know Kyrie is a good player and Love is good to start games, but he disappears down the stretch. And can you really trust Kyle Korver and Channing Frye to just shoot whatever 90% from 3 every night? I don't know. I know that's why they got those guys there. But if they're going to win the championship, they need LeBron and they need Kyrie and they need Love for all, 40 minutes or 35 minutes that he plays, because Love disappears. And if he disappears against the Warriors, they ain't winning anything.
Yeah.
So getting away from basketball now, we got 5 more questions for you. First off, what's your alma mater?
Mizzou, University of Missouri.
Second Mizzou Mafia.
Second Mizzou Mafia kid, yeah.
What is your secret?
Who's the first?
Oh,
Tommy.
all right. Tommy Martin.
Oh, God.
I think you were busy that week. That's all.
You bring me on after Tom Martin. I get Tom sloppy second.
No, what
No,
we gave
no.
you was
Rude.
we gave you the conference.
We Boo! All right, what's next?
We gave you the conference finals. This is a bigger show. We finally listen. Episode 11. We finally figured out what we were doing. We had to get a test run with Tommy.
What'd you give Tommy? Bill's rookie camp.
Ironically enough, I think it was a quick NBA segment.
Yeah.
I think it was a quick NBA stuff. Secret talent, sir.
I used to do a lot of hip hop dancing. I was
Nice.
I did it in college for quite a while. I don't think I'm necessarily good. I think I was just better than a lot of the people in my fraternity and my peers, which made me look a lot better. It's easy to look good when everybody else has two left feet. But
all about the
shout
looks.
out to my mom for raising me on Motown and gave me a dose of rhythm as I got older.
Very nice.
And number 3, which actor would play you in a movie?
Ooh, that is a good question. What's the movie about?
Just about your life.
Yeah.
The story of Jonah Javad.
Oh God, probably some lame actor then. I don't know.
It's got to be somebody that can dance. That's what we've established.
Yes,
At least
hey.
that.
Yeah, who's somebody who can dance?
Somebody from
That's a
what's
great
the
question.
male stripper movie? What's the Chippendales movie?
Magic Mike.
Magic Mike.
Oh yeah, you know. Here's a perfect one. Who's that guy that's married to Sophia Vergara?
Was it Joe Manga?
Oh, didn't they just break up
something
too?
something Italian?
I know he's.
Yeah, he's
Magic-
handsome. He can dance. Likes to take his shirt off. That sounds like me.
All right, that's it
Boom.
then. Favorite beer,
Answer.
sir.
Bush Light. Next question.
Oh my God, it's definitive right there.
Where can we find you on the internet?
You can find me at Jonah Javad on Twitter, and you can find me at Jonah Javad TV on Facebook. And you can find me at Jonah Javad on Instagram, on the IG.
Yes, there it is. My
Don't
man's
DM
always.
slide me, though.
Oh, all right.
Do it for the gram.
Note to self. Jonah Javad.
Do it for the gram.
Oh, I got the wrong. I need the bump music. I played the reporter music.
Hey,
Well, that's an early.
it's
find
still
on me.
music.
Golly. There we go. I got the right one. Jonah Javad, WGRZ out in Buffalo. Appreciate the time, sir.
Love you guys.
Appreciate it. All right, after the break, we've got some segments. Yeah, we got segments after the break. Golly.
I like that music. That's good music. Hope you like what I'm saying right now. I didn't write something for
You
this
didn't prepare
Bring
for
Back
this
to
one.
Break.
I'm disappointed. Normally you got something good for us.
I think they end up being amazing.
Okay.
They end up being so
Okay.
smooth.
No judgments on this
So
end.
smooth.
No judgments on this end of the
So
table.
Smooth. Yeah.
No judgments on this end of the table.
It was actually horrible.
Okay, all right. Just as long as you admit that.
I'm just describing things around the room. I hear music, so I'll talk about music.
All right, Maddie. C-block time for some segments. Let's get some quick plugs in there. At Sports by Bond with at Trabs Matt. The show on Twitter is at TBD_show. You can check out our Instagram account. Maddie's supposed to be maintaining those. It's To Be Determined Show. Not an at, though, right? Or is it an at? I don't know.
It depends like where it's presented. Because on Instagram itself, there's no at symbol, but I see it in other places being described as having an at symbol for your domain name on there.
All right, and then you can email the show, tbdmailman@gmail.com. Check us out on iTunes, Google Play.
On Zunes,
I don't know what that is, but okay.
the viewers will know.
Okay, all right.
GoDaddy.com. This is the homepage, though. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. It's
The
pretty good
website's
gig.
still a work in progress. So,
Yeah.
still a work in progress. Yeah. And check out the YouTube account. You got to search To Be Determined. We need people to subscribe. When you get 100 subscribers, then you can get like /To Be Determined.
Really?
So you can get your name. So we need more. We're at like 9 now, so we're a little behind. We'll get there.
I don't think we're at that many. But there will be more now. Because I said that.
We'll have some now. All right, let's jump into some segments, Maddie. B-side story, we have a pair because we've got a little extra time, I think.
Tiempo mucho.
Stanley Cup finals, Stanley Cup playoffs.
See?
I don't know why I said finals. That was dumb. It's not the finals. It's the final. This is bad. All right.
Lord Stanley's Cup.
I want to get that. I
Playoffs.
want to isolate that. Maybe say that again in the
On
mic.
this day. It's kind of like Megatron. Autobots roll out.
It's Sean Connery and then
Megatron.
Megatron.
You think Sean Connery voices what's his name? Megatron?
No, I'm saying you're doing the Sean Connery voice.
Yeah. Hmm.
Let's talk.
Yeah,
some-
Mark Wahlberg's in those movies now.
Yeah,
Just terrible.
that doesn't fit. You're
Waffle.
right. It does not fit.
Where's Shia? I need crazy Shia.
Yes, he makes it.
I need nut job
And
Shia.
and Megan Fox, the two of them.
yeah.
Well, all right, we can pine for yesteryear, but we'll talk about the playoffs instead. Ottawa shocking everyone with an overtime win over Pittsburgh. I think a lot of people thought Pittsburgh would take this in 5 games, maybe 6. Not so fast. The Senators are for real. Not the most exciting brand of hockey, but it was an exciting game.
Doesn't matter.
For game 1
If you win.
of the Eastern Conference Finals. I thoroughly enjoyed watching that game. I got to really into it in the third period, and in particular the overtime. And Bobby Ryan was spectacular. He had the assist on the game's first goal, and he scored the game winner in overtime. And if you didn't know about Bobby Ryan before, you should know about him now. Maddie almost sneezed there.
Yeah, see that?
Caught it. You
was
caught
a
it. It was very
pre-sneeze.
nice.
Pre-sneeze.
Bobby Ryan, formerly of the Ducks, now with the Senators for the past couple years, as Maddie reminded me pre-show.
Yeah, but the thing is, I thought he played for him like 2 years ago, not a half a decade.
Well, he's been with the Senators for a couple years now. So, no, but that overtime goal he scored, just what pure speed, great hands.
Just getting ahead of the defense, just cooking.
Man, not much Fleury's going to do there.
Moving the puppies.
I mean, he saving the monitor. Trying to. There it is.
See,
Maddie
you said it wasn't a touchscreen.
Maddie just smacked
You
the mat.
said it wasn't a
It's not.
touchscreen.
I hit the laptop at the same time.
No. On the video,
The video's going to show.
they're going to see what
The
opened.
video's going to show the difference.
The laptop's
All
on
right,
the screen.
let's focus on hockey here. I know you've got a bit of hockey ADD, but
No, but last week, you and NHL, ESPN insider Matt Collar were talking in length about how it was just not a good series in terms of, especially
New York
both
and
teams
Ottawa.
getting there.
New York and
it was
Ottawa.
the Rangers and the Sens.
yeah,
And we're like,
not exciting hockey. It just
Yeah,
wasn't exciting hockey.
that was a big point, and rightfully so, of the conversation we had with Matt Collar last week.
but it was maybe
And then-
the most compelling series, which is funny.
Yes,
Sorry,
yes,
but
in terms of how it was won,
yes,
getting down
yeah,
deep.
yeah. Which is
But-
a conundrum, I guess.
But yeah, it's crazy that someone from that series, which was so poorly regarded and rightfully so, I'll say it again, that is a team. This is the Penguins.
Yeah.
It's the Penguins. The
Defending
mighty, right
champions.
now, it's the mighty Penguins.
Yeah.
That's what they deserve to be stylized at. And they are down. I know it's a series. This is one game, but a team from that series previously in that round doing this to start off the series against the mighty Penguins.
By everyone's account, by all talking heads or experts' accounts, whoever won the Washington-Pittsburgh series was going to win the cup.
Yeah.
And it would seem to be a foregone conclusion. I see differently. Anaheim-Pittsburgh just wrapped up a few minutes ago. We'll talk about that game and that series next. I don't think it's a walkover for whoever gets out of the East. The West is a tough matchup either way you slice it in my book. And the Western Conference Final, to me, is the better series. It may not turn out to be, at least on paper, the West is. In reality, the East may turn out to be 7 games. Pittsburgh's still a little banged up. I don't think Crosby is 100%. I don't think he'll ever admit it, but I don't think he's 100%.
Well, you had been saying you thought he was rushed back, and
I thought he was rushed
just
back
so
from
with
the
someone
concussion.
with that concussion history, that's not a bad point to make.
They didn't need to bring him back when they did. They could have let him sit out a
Yeah.
game, or another game, I should say. So he still may be feeling the effects of it. Listen, he's the best player in the world. I want to see him play, but I want to see him play at 100%. And I get that maybe this time of the year no one is 100%, but as close to full as you can get out of Sidney Crosby. That's what the league wants. That's what fans want to see out of this. I think Ottawa's for real. It's odd to say this because we basically dismissed them in
Ottawa.
episode 10, but in one game, they've sort of flipped the script. They're for real. This team is absolutely for real. Craig Anderson, what a story. His wife battling breast cancer. He fights through it. His wife fights through it. He's fighting through it by coming back and playing.
And as someone who loves him some Avalanche, not as big of a fan as I used to be because I know it makes me sound like a homer. Not necessarily a homer, but a fair weather fan.
There you go.
It's because there's That's simply not good right now. But Craig Anderson used to be on the Avs. Not quite as cool in terms of the bucket department because Peter Budaj, I don't know where he's playing now. Is it Canadians maybe? But Peter Budaj has, it's like shirtless Ned Flanders on his bucket. That's a little creepy. I don't know if you know The Simpsons. You're not really responding to that at all. But I think we need to go back, and this is a very important point because I sort of interrupted you with it. You kind of glazed past it. But when you said odd, I said Ottawa, but like I had 2 D's in it.
Oh, okay.
And that's a great point. I deserve points for that. So
What?
I think I'm going to pat myself on the back. It's a great term. Saying
Odd?
Ottawa.
Odd Ottawa?
No, Ottawa. ODD.
Oh, it's
AWA.
but it's TT.
But not when they're odd.
Okay. All
Just
right.
mix it.
Yeah. It's an interesting series. I think it'll be a little more fascinating than what people think. All right, let's dive into the West just quickly if we can. Anaheim hosting Nashville for Game 2. The Preds steal one on the road in Anaheim. And then today the Ducks come flying back. Today meaning Sunday. The Ducks score 3 in the second to jump from behind 2 to up 1. That second period could spring this team. I mean, Anaheim just seems like it's on just a run here. I love Nashville, though. It's hard for me to root against Nashville. It's a fun team.
Superstars, too.
Nashville's a fun team. I love PK Subban.
Even if it was just Subban,
I don't care what
team.
Milbury says. Let him dance. Milbury's an old curmudgeon as far as I'm concerned. Let PK dance. If that's what he does pregame, that's what he does. I don't care.
I love it.
Who cares?
That's
If the
something you
guy
don't see
goes
as
out-
much in this sport.
If
so.
the guy goes out and performs like that, who cares? The fans like to see it because younger and younger fans love to
Yes.
see that type of stuff.
Absolutely. And that's how you're going to get this game more popular in this country. But in that game was crazy. So we're watching there like it's 2-0, but it seems like way more than a 2-0 deficit.
Yeah.
That with Nashville up because that second goal, I don't even think the goalie knew it had passed by.
John Gibson was completely out of position for that one. I think he got caught up with a defenseman.
Oh, he was getting blocked out a little bit,
Yeah.
but you could not have a worse goal against you, a more embarrassing goal against you. And then all of a sudden it comes back, and then Pecorine, who just never seems to falter at all. And it looked like on the replay we're talking about a little bit.
The third goal.
Yes. So the third goal. So Nick
Oh, no,
Ritchie
I'm sorry,
rips
the fourth
from
goal.
a
The fourth
long
goal.
ways away.
Third goal that period.
And it looked like he just like, he got scared by it, but it looks like it went off his bucket or something.
Yeah, the camera angle didn't pan up quite enough or quickly enough.
So it looked like he was just kind of getting scared by it, which would be ridiculous for an NHL goalie, a hockey goalie in general, especially not Pecorine.
The shot, it bounced off the boards. The shot is a riser, and I think it's a quick riser
Try to
for
rough it.
Rene, and it hits right off the side of his mask, which is why you saw him sort
Okay.
of jolt his head to the side.
He wasn't
It's not
going,
that he was
"Ah."
trying to get out of the way. It's that literally it hit him, and really he needed to bring his head just a few more inches to the front. He would have had to stop. Anaheim's lucky that shot didn't careen and go higher and over the net. They get the bounce, they get the break, then they score the empty netter in the third. It's a 1-1 series. I think I tweeted this before the series even started. That series needs to go 7. Anaheim, Nashville needs to go 7. It would be phenomenal for the game. These two teams, they just, you've got Anaheim's forwards in Getzlaf and Corey Perry, and you've got the blue liners for Nashville. And that, to me, is where the series is at its most entertaining. Maybe the crucial part of this is Anaheim's defense and Nashville's forwards, but the entertaining part is on that other end. Both goalies are very good. Rene obviously has the slight edge. Gibson's not that bad, though. Gibson's not a bad goalie. I mean, Gibson is a pretty phenomenal goaltender. All right, let's jump to the other B-side story, because we did about 10 minutes on hockey, which is a lot longer than what I was planning on. The Players' Championship, the 5th major, wrapped up today. The TPC Sawgrass.
The thumb. Makes it sound bad.
You got to get on mic there, Matty. You're a little off mic.
Oh, because I'm writing something.
You're writing some stuff down.
No, I said it's
Siwoo-
the thumb.
Oh, the
but
thumb.
That makes
Okay,
it sound
all right, I get what you're
bad.
saying. I get what you're saying there. Sorry, I didn't hear you. Siwoo Kim becoming the youngest champion in the history at the ripe old age of 21. And I wrote down here, could he be the next KJ Choi, being a South Korean golfer?
And that's something like that country usually pumps out a lot of big names in terms of the women's game. So I think it definitely would help the game globally. That's obviously, there's a lot of people there. That's a lot of more people that could be spending money on golf and the PGA Tour especially.
Yeah.
Watching it, going to events. So
well, and
why
it's a
not?
sport that's hurting right now with some
Yes.
major manufacturers getting out
As
of
generations change, yeah.
a lot of major manufacturers getting out of the golf club producing business, if that makes sense. The equipment business, they're getting out of the equipment business. Nike is ceasing their operations.
Really?
Yeah. So to me, golf's in a crucial state right now. I think there are a lot of younger, more exciting players that need to take the reins. We need to see Ricky Fowler back in the winner's circle, if you will. You need to have Rory in every game. Sergio winning the Masters is great. It's the most prestigious major. It's an older guy. He finally breaks the curse. That's a phenomenal story. It's a great way to start 2017. But you need the younger guys that are going to wear those oranges type shirts. They're gonna be more flamboyant. They're gonna wear more outrageous things.
Needs to cater to youngins.
Exactly. That's exactly what you need. You need these guys to cater to the younger generations.
That's the
because
youngins.
okay, well, either way, this guy could be that for the South Korean fan base.
But what you saw, again, you're mentioning a lot of good young American names, or just young names in general there. What you really need to see in this one, I think it really would help things. I mean, this is a very young name. It's great. It's great. But in terms of someone who's an American golf fan or a golf fan in America, J.B. Holmes, Kyle Stanley, these are guys that were doing so well throughout the days of this event and just could not get it done in the end.
I think Stanley got fourth. He was the highest American. Ian Poulter, second.
Crazy pants.
Louis Oosthuizen.
All right.
Third.
So you say Louis Oosthuizen, but one, you got to say Louis Oosthuizen. That's one. Two,
Okay.
full name, Lodewickus Theodorus Oosthuizen. And it's funny because he's got a kind of
I'm
crazy.
sorry, hold on. Give us to that one more time.
I don't know how to quite pronounce it. Lodewickus Theodorus Oosthuizen.
Okay, there we go.
But it's crazy because he's just a character. He's got this look to him, especially when he's rocking the beard. He's got like a little part in his two front teeth. He just looks like a good time, like a little, like beautifully goofy. And sure enough, you Google image search him, and the first thing that comes up is him, like just giving eyes, like just playful eyes to just a Shrek puppet.
Siwoo Kim, by the way, went bogey free on the final round. I just want to throw that out.
Wait,
there.
we're talking about Shrek right now. I'm sorry, Siwoo Kim.
His second career win from. All right, Maddie, let's go to buy the numbers. The number this week, well, it had to be 2, and that's for the New York Yankees retiring the number of the great captain, Derek Jeter, Mr. November.
Mr. Hannah Davis.
Mr. Hannah Davis. That's one way to remember it.
Yeah.
Especially in his retirement. Doesn't quite own the Marlins yet.
Oh, yeah, I
so,
forgot about that. Interesting.
Yeah, until then, he's Mr. Hannah Davis, although Ms. Davis, Ms. Jeter, Mrs. Jeter.
Oh, yeah, they're not booed up yet. Well, not like fully booed up yet, right?
No, I think they are.
Oh,
I thought
yeah.
they were. I don't know. I
That was
can't
a test,
remember.
and you did well.
Okay, all right. Very good. She's got a baby on board. There's a bun in the oven.
Little oven bun.
Proudly showed it off during the ceremony.
Flaunt what you got.
Jeter's been gone from baseball for a year and a half, year and a quarter. Year and
change.
Year and change.
Year and a smidge. Year and a skosh.
This was an interesting stat that I think ESPN put out there. I want to make sure we credit that. Jeter, the only major league player to play at least 20 seasons and never have a losing season. So when you think of the number 2, what do you think of? Well, you have to think of winning. And not just championships, but you have to just think of winning across the board.
Well, I have to realize that the people listening to this don't have this paper in front of them. You got halfway through the sentence. I'm like, oh yeah, what a cool stat. I gotta let you finish next time.
Sort of jumped the gun on it, but that's all right.
So just do it again. I'm gonna get it right this time.
Okay, all right. Jeter, the only major league player to play 20 years and never have a losing season.
Whoa.
There we go.
Yes.
All right.
Cha-ching.
Yankees now, by the way, have retired every single-digit number in their organization. So
Too
lowest
many?
one you got is 10.
It's a matter of, are we retiring too many numbers, or the Yankees, that kind of organization, do they have that many guys coming in
I think they
that
have.
want to play for them that are big time?
Well, I think you have to retire those numbers. I mean, you think of those guys.
And it looked like Derek Jeter. I don't know if he could even be considered. He's obviously up there. The craziest Yankee of all time. Craziest Yankee. The best Yankee of all time. It looked like he had like his own little cove.
Well,
his own little area.
I think that was the
That's just
park
where-
that
that's
they
just they
have,
leave 'em?
and that was just the one spot.
Oh, then they're going to put him up.
You were referring to the wall where they have all of the numbers
Like
retired.
a beautiful floral
I just don't think
arrangement?
they put it up there yet. That's all. I just don't think they put it up on the
Okay.
wall yet. That's all.
Aaron Judge,
All
get
right.
there soon.
He's just starting his
He's
career.
a large man.
That doesn't mean he's going to be a Hall of
He's a
Famer
large man.
a number retire.
Oh, Gary Sanchez is back. That's a bunch of man too. That's creepy. I'm sorry.
Okay. So the number this week is 2. All right, let's jump to Get Off My Lawn, Maddie. The gripe this week, we're going back to the grocery store. Apparently I spend a lot of time at the grocery store and nowhere else. But it's just where I do a lot of observing, I guess, for lack of a better term. I'm always
Still let
on...
him catch you seeing you or looking at him.
It's... Well, I'm pretty subtle about it. I'm pretty subtle.
Now you keep
Sneaky,
making.
sneaky.
Now you keep making the B silent. It's not pronounced that way. It's subtle.
Subtle? Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
All right. Oh, man, he's just hitting the mic
Every
there.
week. Every
Every
week.
week you hit the mic.
God.
All right, Maddie. So the Get Off My Lawn moment this week is never walk away from your cart in the grocery store. That's the point to this entire thing.
I want people seeing your treats. Don't steal the treats,
Well,
people.
I mean, listen, what if you leave something in the cart? But that's beside the point. All right, so I am in an aisle, an undisclosed aisle at the grocery store.
Why aren't
this
you
weekend.
telling us?
I don't
Ugh.
remember where I was. I don't remember if it
It's
was the
toiletries.
soups, the
That's-
toiletries,
no,
wherever
it's
it was.
If you're saying
Could
like
have been
that,
the cereal.
toiletries.
It could have been the cereal aisle. It might even have been the milk. I can't remember exactly where it was.
We know.
Anyway, so I'm in an aisle, and this lady is just gabbing away on the phone. She's holding the cell phone up with one hand. Doesn't have the headphones in or anything like that. Gabbing away, one hand on the phone, one hand on the cart. In the middle of the aisle, decided, wait a minute, I need something 4 aisles over, and decides to leave the cart. She abandons the cart and heads 3 aisles over to get whatever, and then comes back.
There's already so much trouble, especially if you're going a Saturday or Sunday morning.
This was a Saturday, and it was an afternoon. Saturday afternoon.
But still, Saturday in general, weekends in general, it's busy all the time.
Yes.
It's already hard enough to get through these aisles. They're jammed up with carts. You're
And
going to leave it there.
It wasn't just the lady and I in the aisle. This was several people in the aisle. I would say we were at least 5, 6 deep in the one
think
aisle.
then you just you absorb that into your number of carts.
And I'm not
You
saying
start walking around with 2 carts then. That's your cart
I'm not
now.
saying it was the complete 13. I'm saying we were in 13B.
Did you burgle her groceries? I hope you did.
No, but if I needed anything out of her cart, I would have just taken it.
Yeah.
I didn't have anything on the list
Hey,
there,
hey.
so
Low on Triscuits that day? Yeah, you got
that's
Triscuits
true.
up.
That's true. Or if it was something like 3 aisles over, I would have grabbed it. The point is this. Don't abandon the cart, especially when you're because you're gabbing on the phone and you don't think you can carry everything. Hang up the phone, get a pair of headphones, or just take the cart with you.
Get better with your feet. Get like monkey feet. And be able to work them as hands.
The grocery store is a very frustrating place, okay? It's like a casino.
Yeah.
There are no windows. There are no clocks. There are no easily accessible exits.
There's
Think about it.
absolutely windows.
There's no windows.
In the front.
In the very front, but go to the side. Go to the back. Go to the other side. There are no windows. It's like a casino, Maddie. They want to trap you in there. The longer you're in there, the more money you're going to spend. Think about it. Just like a casino, Maddie. The point is this. It's a hectic place, especially on the weekends. If you want to go on a Tuesday at midnight and do all your shopping, fine. There won't be anybody in there. That's perfectly acceptable.
Well, the few people that will be in there, though, has some characters.
Some characters. Good people watching. The point is that on a Saturday afternoon, it's jammed up, it's busy. Do not abandon your cart, people. Do not
Or I'm going to abandon you from just the human race.
Do not abandon your cart. Random
Go live in the woods.
grocery store lady, get off my lawn. All right.
It's not for you. It's not your lawn.
Not my lawn.
That's trespassing.
Twitter takes, very fitting on the day that the Miss Universe pageant is today. We turned to 1 year ago. The great Steve Harvey. Don't approach Steve Harvey. In fact,
No boy.
I'm not even sure we can talk about Steve Harvey without getting into trouble about this. The comedian, game show host, talk show host, sent out a bit of a rant. I want to read you at least part of this. He writes actually to his employees. This letter sent out to his employees. There will be no meetings in my dressing room, no stopping or popping in, no one, in all caps. Do not come in my dressing room unless invited. Do not open my dressing room door. All caps here. If you open my door, expect to be removed. Wow. He continues. I have been taken advantage of by my lenient policy in the past. This ends now. All caps, no more. I am seeking more free time for me throughout the day. Everyone, do not take offense to the new way of doing business. It is good for my personal life and enjoyment. Wow. We might be in trouble for just talking about this, but we had to talk about it.
There's no way it was bad enough having to deal with people who I'm sure were nice. We're being nice while doing it, even though they're kind of butting into his life. And
There's a different way you can go about this.
Yeah.
There's a complete. You don't need an email with all caps. And by the way, when you type this and send it out and hand it out, you have to know in this day and age, especially with, somebody's going to leak it. It's going to be leaked because somebody's going to be aggravated that, some little crony that's getting coffee, an intern that's getting coffee, is handed this piece of paper. Is like, forget you, Steve Harvey. Of course I'll go to the press with it.
I got it.
The monitor went blank again.
I got
it's
it.
bad radio, Maddie. Your thoughts on Steve Harvey, though?
What's even worse about it, he was so adamant once this came out on social media and this went nationwide, worldwide, that it was him, that it was not somebody.
He backed it up.
Yeah, and it's just not a good look. It's not a good look to do something so just against other human beings, and then to be so adamant, saying, "Yep, you're darn right."
I've grown to become a fan of Steve Harvey.
Yes,
if you've noticed Twitter at all.
I don't think that's been your most used tweet method.
Well,
GIF. The tweet method.
Okay.
That's more. I'm even saying more than just using text.
I haven't used a Steve Harvey GIF
Don't
in a
you
while,
lie
though.
to me. Don't you lie to me. You love your Steve Harvey GIFs.
Love Steve Harvey. I think he's got a great personality. I love watching Family Feud. I think it's very entertaining. This, I don't know. It rubs me the wrong way, as it should rub you the wrong way. I don't think that was the
rubbing me at all.
I don't think that was the Family Feud music as we were going for.
It's not?
No.
Yeah, come on down. Oh, no, it's Drew Carey.
Yeah.
What's that?
Hollywood Squares? Was that Hollywood Squares?
That's terrible.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
I know
You're
you know
way
that's-
off on that.
I know you know that. That's not true. You're just a fibber. You cool with being a fibber? You walking through life as a fibber.
The Price is Right.
Yes, there we go.
That's what you're referring to.
Yes.
I thought.
Hollywood
I can't believe
Squares.
I thought you were
Oh, you
not
thought
serious,
it was...
so that's why I was joking. So yeah, Steve Harvey, you can't do this. You know it's going to get leaked out. There's a different way to go about this. Just say you're trying to prepare for the show as best as you can. Please don't come into my dressing room. If somebody grabs you as you're walking to the set, just walk a little faster.
That's the thing. You gotta
Just
have...
nod, say, okay, yeah, walk a little faster. You're telling me that by you walking from your dressing room to the stage, you really need to be dialed in at that moment? Come on, man.
Well, in this
That's
day
a
and
get
age,
off my lawn moment.
In this day and age, you mentioned a second ago, this was going to get out there. And if it has a high possibility, you got to have more smooth. You got to have more steez. A lot of people talk about the whole, it's a cliche now, 0 to 100, Drake, all that stuff. But that's what happened.
Yeah.
You can't freak out like that. That's the first thing you're going public about.
He blew right by the speed limit of 65, went right to 100. All right, Maddie, that'll wrap up a lengthy segments block. Around the corner, forget the bro tip. We got the Sports by Mom tip. It is Mother's Day when we're recording the segment. We bring in Sports by Mom to get her take on the latest sports headlines.
Recording on Mother's Day, capital H on hooray. We're back here on To Be Determined.
Capital H on hooray. The female voice you hear, we're pleased to be joined by at Sports by Mom.
Yes.
Hi, everybody.
Sounds like the SNL skit years ago on the NPR thing.
Oh,
What was the? It
well,
was Alec
it's
Baldwin was in
sweaty
there.
balls.
Yeah, well,
yeah. Come on.
sorry. It's what I got though. The two.
It was
female voices.
Molly Shannon and other. I don't remember the
Yes. All right. Well, you got one of them. All right. So the purpose of this segment, this week's bro tip, for lack of a better term, is purely for laughter. I guess, in a way. Now my mother's looking at me like, I hate you. I can't believe you made me do this.
Yeah.
So we brought on Mom to run through some sports headlines. So some things that are happening in the sports world, which she has no clue about whatsoever. Okay? So that's the purpose of this segment, is that we just want to get her initial reaction to certain things. We're kind of got to guide her and then just let her go. That's the whole purpose of Sports
Try
by
to
Mom,
inform.
is that she has an opinion but has no information whatsoever.
I know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
come on.
Sometimes.
She's got a son
Sometimes.
that's big into sports.
I listen to you guys every week.
Well, thank you.
I don't know what
Thank
the
you,
heck
yeah.
you're talking about. I listen to you.
We got a download. Look at that.
Yes.
All right, Mom. Let's start with this. Both Buffalo sports teams hired new general managers. I'm going to give you their names. You tell me who's going to be the more successful candidate, okay? The Bills hired Brandon Beane. The Sabres hired Jason Botterill. Which one do you like better?
Well, I think Brandon Bean sounds a little too goofy.
Goofy? Oh, okay.
Like a comic
Yeah,
character,
or
don't
Disney
you think?
or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I think the other guy has a more
Jason
impressive
Botterill.
name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Botterill's a University of Michigan graduate, former Rochester
Oh.
American, so it's a good pick. That'll please the Rochester audience. Now, the follow-up question to that, Mom, is who is the quarterback to the Buffalo Bills?
Jim Kelly.
There have been a few since him.
He's the only one I remember.
See, I told you, Maddie. But Maddie and I discussed
He's
this
dreamy.
before, and I said, I'm going to
he
ask
is.
her.
He's cute. He's really cute.
Taken, but yes. Okay, thanks, Mom.
That's what he thinks. All right.
Right. If you could see my Mother of Dragon shirt right now.
Yes.
Game of
Game of
Thrones.
Thrones.
See, there's something my mother
Totally.
knows that I know nothing
I
about.
would know about that.
I don't
if you
know
asked
anything
me
about
about that, I would know.
Right.
June, July, it's coming back. We'll get you.
All right, yeah.
We'll get
you,
informed.
we'll bring her back on, and then you two can quiz me, because I have no clue.
Actually, that sounds like a good. I'll have to write that down. No, but by then you'll watch all the episodes, so you're going to be very good at the quiz. So, number 2, pick a Stanley Cup winner out of Nashville, Anaheim, Ottawa, and Pittsburgh.
Like, who's going to win?
Who's going to win?
The next
Right,
one?
right. Who wins the cup this year?
Okay, well, I saw the Ottawa Senators play
Okay. Okay.
many years ago.
Right.
They were good then,
Okay.
I think.
They were not so good back then, but all right.
Okay.
So you like the Sens?
Yeah.
It's
Well,
a-
they've got a horrible auditorium, though. We
Okay.
sat up really high.
did.
You feel like you're going to fall right into the ice.
Yes.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a far fall.
Yeah. But a lot of people go to their games.
Yeah,
so,
they do draw
you know,
well.
Yeah.
Up
they
there in
have
Canada.
a lot of people cheering for them, so maybe they'll win.
So
Are
my-
they? Is it a possibility?
It
Are
is a
they-
possibility.
Yeah.
They're up 1-0 right
They
now
actually are.
over
Oh.
Pittsburgh in the
All
series.
right. All right.
So Monday night, we'll find that out. All right, Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals in the NBA went final just prior to us having dinner tonight, actually on a Sunday. Golden State overcame a 20-point deficit at the half. Who wins the series? Easy, just an A or B here.
Wait a minute.
Santa.
Who's playing?
I'm gonna give it to you right now. San Antonio or Golden State? Who wins? San Antonio Spurs, Golden State Warriors.
Are Golden State? Are they from San Francisco?
Yeah.
Yep, right in the Bay Area.
okay.
I think they're technically in Oakland, but
Oh.
it covers the San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose type area.
Okay, so California or
the California team or the Texas team.
Texas team. I like California.
Okay.
They're a blue state.
Okay.
I go with them.
Okay, we're going with the Warriors.
Sounds good. Hey.
They're up 1-0, and as I mentioned, they overcame that 20-point
Really?
deficit.
That's
so.
2 for 2.
Oh my
and getting
God,
teams that
I'm
are
going to the casino.
Listen, they haven't won yet.
So
All right,
on this Mother's Day, the Yankees retired Derek Jeter's number. What's your favorite number and your favorite Jeter memory?
We'll start with number.
Just my favorite number
Favorite
out
number.
of anything.
Yeah.
Favorite number.
8.
8. Okay. I was never 8 in anything.
No connection.
I know, it's just always
Sorry.
been my favorite number. I'm
you know-
sorry, honey.
I think this is the first time I'm hearing this, actually.
You were 15?
Yeah,
had a
right.
15.
I was 15 one time.
Yeah.
That's good. All right.
Yep.
All right. Very good.
Okay.
Favorite Jeter memory, that if you have one.
Honey,
Okay.
I don't even know who Jeter is.
Wait, well, here's one. So the NCAA tournament's on right now for lacrosse.
Yeah.
What's your
Okay.
favorite memory of watching Steven play lacrosse?
Play
Okay.
lacrosse. Oh my God. He used to be a long stick
Oh, I didn't know that.
defenseman. Yeah.
I played that position once or twice. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I don't know. Let's see. Do I have a favorite memory of that? I don't know.
She just remembers me
every
playing.
time you got on the field.
Yeah.
I just
No,
like to
that's
watch
not bad.
you.
It's few and far between. So yeah.
No. Well, long stick, I know this. You don't get to go out every time. Only when they need you. You're like a special team, right?
For the record, I was a long stick midfielder. So yes.
Yeah,
yes.
long stick
So you're correct.
midfielder.
You're very
Yep.
correct. And I was on defense, so that's very close. You're right there. All right, we're gonna give you. This is our last little game here. 5 names. All you have to do is give us the sport they play. So we picked fairly obscure names. The
Well,
first,
thanks a lot. I don't even know who Derek Jeter is, and I have a feeling he's pretty famous. So I don't think I'm going to
Slightly.
do very well.
slightly,
Okay.
maybe the first unanimous Hall of Famer, first ballot Hall of Famer into the Baseball Hall of Fame. But that's beside the point.
Okay.
Shaq Stanwyck.
Sounds like a guy who rides horses. You know, jockey.
A jockey. Well, no, it's actually a good guess. He's a lacrosse player.
Oh.
So it's actually not a bad guess.
All right.
And the thing is, Shaq, you would think like Shaquille O'Neal would be
Yeah.
SHAQ. It's actually spelled like the architecture. SHACK.
Really?
That's not a name. That's not a name.
That's really his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
They've got some
Wow.
odd names in that.
So they're
name.
I just was going with the last name. Sounds sort
Yeah.
of, you know.
Okay.
like proper.
Yeah.
like-
Yeah.
yeah. Number 2, PK Subban. What sport?
PK Subban. Now hold on just a second.
Take a minute.
PK.
We need some music behind this because this is bad radio.
I'm sorry.
No,
I
it's
know
on us.
I can't
It's on
answer
us.
right away. I'm so
That's
sorry.
fine. That's fine.
Okay, PK Subban.
Yep.
I don't know. Is he a wrestler?
No.
Okay.
No. What's the other sport I played?
Hockey?
There we go.
Ice hockey.
Okay.
Okay.
Very nice.
All right.
D.D. Gregorius.
D.D. Gregorius.
Yeah.
Basketball?
Good guess. Baseball.
Oh,
Good guess.
okay.
though. Good guess.
All right.
All right. Number 4, Gormley. Gormley.
Just Gormley?
Gormley.
Oh, Gormley.
Gormley.
Chess?
He's a horse. He
He's
was
a
a
horse,
horse.
yes.
The Kentucky Derby.
Oh,
So it's almost like your first answer. Yeah, with the jockey.
see, I should have said that.
Zaza Pachulia.
Oh, my God.
The eyes. Oh, that's gonna be good for this angle. This camera angle.
Zaza
Pachulia.
Pachulia.
Yeah.
Uh,
You've guessed this sport already, and
wrestling?
we're incorrect. No. He's a basketball player.
Really?
He's a basketball
I know
player.
it's
Wow.
crazy. He's from Georgia, the country.
Oh, the country of Georgia. Okay.
Looking at him, you're like, I don't think he's from Atlanta.
All right.
I think I touched these.
that's fine.
Oh, it's all good.
Mom referring to the headphone jack. Just the volume. So if your headphones got really loud during the segment, Maddie, it was Mom's fault, not mine.
Sorry.
I
We're all
would say-
good. Oh, we're all good.
The one time it wasn't my fault. That's all right. The executive producer. I should have introduced her with that title first of all. The executive producer of
The EP.
To Be Determined, Sports by Mom. Mom, thanks for joining us.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. It was so much fun, you guys.
All right, our thanks to Sports by Mom,
At Sports by Mom.
at Sports by Mom,
Curly QA, Sports by Mom.
Curly QA Sports by Mom. I do want to mention that Mom doesn't pay attention to sports at all, is more keen to know about Game of Thrones type stuff, as we said,
Yeah.
than sports stuff. But I just, she's the executive producer of the show because she cooks us dinner and allows us to host this fine podcast in her basement. So wanted to bring her on for Mother's Day and just introduce everyone to Mom. That was the entire point of it, and we had to talk sports during it. So when Game of Thrones comes back on,
Then
we'll bring her back, and
we're going to flip the
then
script.
we can
Not
flip the script
me,
on me.
just on you.
I know. That's fine. I don't watch the
I'm
show.
too scared.
I don't
too scared.
I don't watch the show, so that's fine. Completely all right. All right. B-side, no, not B-side story. It's got legs.
Legs?
Some legs time. A story that's going to continue to percolate.
2 more weekends, I think.
2 more weekends. 2 more weekends indeed. This weekend was the greatest weekend for lacrosse in my mind. It's just nonstop games from noon until night. I love
Really?
it. I love
Ugh.
it. I love it.
I loved it.
Ohio
Well,
State beating.
Mostly. we're not even going to get into that.
Oh yeah, there was that team down in Happy Valley that lost
Okay,
to
so,
Towson.
yeah, that's where we're going to have to keep, because I will talk for 100 minutes about that.
What happened to your boys?
I don't want to talk
They're
about
now 0-4 in the history of that program in the NCAA tournament.
it. I mean, I assume they're just overlooking it, because this is a team that they were supposed to clobber. I mean, they're looking forward to possibly playing Syracuse or even Yale, which is a much more high-profile opponent. But what happened
Wait a
was
minute, you saying Yale's more high profile than Syracuse?
then Towson.
Okay, all right,
Towson.
all right.
But
Just making sure.
what happened was, and you were texting me because I was working. You were texting me.
I was trying to give you the update.
Texting me updates, and what happened was they came back and tied it at 7. It looked like momentum shift at home there. Then you had the huge slashing penalty, and they scored when they were man up.
That penalty was the
Tigers
difference.
did.
You're right. That
And
penalty
it's
was
like
the difference.
it's momentum shift, such a big momentum shift, and then
You know
they
what?
popped them.
I'll be honest with you, though. Even when it was tied 7-7, I never felt like the momentum was completely with Penn State. I think if they would have gotten the lead at 8-7, that would have been the difference. But Towson comes right back and takes the lead, reclaims the lead. Towson, to me, is... I know you give me the eyes. You give me the...
I'm putting hands on you.
you
I'm just kidding.
Towson's a good team. They knocked off the defending champs last year in Denver, so...
Yeah, no,
It's
this
a team
is the
that knows
second
what they're
straight
doing.
year they beat.
It's a well-coached program.
Yes.
Well-coached
No,
program.
and it's a program with a lot of history.
Not that Penn State isn't, because I love Tambroni.
Yeah.
He might be my favorite college coach.
But, yeah, no, Towson certainly has more history in their program than Penn State does.
All right, Ohio State beating Loyola. Matt, who do they beat?
Loyola? That's just how I say it. It's my Rochester
The
accent.
Rochester accent. Not Loyola. Maryland surviving Bryant. And I have to say that I think the Bryant jerseys held them back. Those Adidas tight jerseys are hideous.
Tight.
They have the best helmets in those matte black, straight matte black, tight jerseys. Awful. Notre Dame downing Marquette as expected. And then we get to Cuse Yale. You had it, and you said this, I think it was the best way to say it. Execution down the stretch. Malloy played out of his
By
mind.
the back. Just the back.
Malloy had, I think, 15, 16 saves on the afternoon. SU got clobbered at the face-off X. Really could have used Victor's
And that's the
TD Irwin.
thing. That's what Evan Malloy, besides he had Ben Reeves, the Tewaaraton Award finalist,
Yep.
in that fiver. Speaking of fivers, he got...
Section 5er,
Yeah.
former Section 5er.
Yeah, so a lot of fives actually going on with Ben Reeves. But he had not too much of a ripper go through his legs. Besides that,
was the
Malloy
only-
was unbelievable. And they were getting killed in gerbils. They were getting killed in ground balls. They were getting killed in face-off percentage.
Yeah.
And the only things that they did well in, that they're either very close or up in, goals scored, saves. Evan Malloy deserved to be player of that game if he wasn't.
Jamie Trimboli gets the 10th goal. Young man out of Victor, just a freshman, man. He just knows how to play. He just,
Such a game
all
of
he does
fivers,
is
man.
Score big-time goals. So Cuse advancing to play Towson. That'll be a heck of a ball game. That's next weekend. So that is the
But
Lent story.
shout out to Notre Dame. Ryder Garnsey and Sergio Perkovic came back today, and
Make sure
Got
you
it done.
vote in the
Perkovic.
poll. There you go, Perkovic. Make sure you vote in the poll. Check us out on Twitter, at TBD_show. On Instagram, To Be Determined Show. Email the show, To Be Determined. No, it's tbdmailman@gmail.com. Sorry, I got a little ahead of myself. Our thanks to WGRZ's
Worst.
Jonah Javad, Mizzou Mafia representing. Really appreciate his
You're the worst, but
discussion.
he's the best.
I know.
No, you're
It's true.
good.
Our
like your
thanks
face.
our thanks to Sports by Mom. My thanks to you, Maddie, for showing up. Make sure you download, subscribe. Check out archived episodes on iTunes, Google Play. Leave us a review if you're an iTunes user.
You're a cool person.
Check out the post-game show, post-game press conference after this on YouTube. Subscribe. Make sure you check out the Friday show. Happy Mother's Day to everyone. We'll see you next week on To Be Determined. Later, boys.